How's it going, everyone? My name is Aaron Harrell. Welcome to the Lightzen Academy. Today is Share Your Work Wednesday, and we usually do these on Twitch during our live streams. Well, I've moved into this new studio space, but the internet is pretty bad, so it might be a while until I'm able to live stream. In the meantime, I decided to change the format of our Share Your Work Wednesdays to YouTube videos. So if you don't know what Share Your Work Wednesday is, what we do on the live stream is every Wednesday, we pull up all the photos and work. It could be videos, it could be photos, Instagram reels, whatever that you want to share with the community. If you want critiques, feedbacks, or if you're just celebrating any W's, any wins with the community, you got featured somewhere, you're just really proud of something, this is the community to share your work with. We love to help each other and inspire each other to grow in the thing we all love, photography. With that being said, we're gonna jump into the Discord. I'm gonna show you guys in our Discord, we do have a space called the Photo Hub. And in this hub, there is the thread called Share Your Work, so critiques and feedback. So I've gone ahead and opened up all of these photos. We're gonna go through them with you here, and as always, if you have any critiques yourselves, feel free to put it in the chat. We'd love to hear the voice from the community. All right, first up, we're gonna jump in and we've got the Crazy Zeno. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the prompt that they also put. Sometimes they're gonna be asking for specific things or they're gonna bring attention to something. So the Crazy Zeno says, tried out the new flash I got recently and tested it out with a friend and helped him with the photo shoot. All right, so I've got all the photos opened up. Let me find that little grouping here. All right, so these are the photos that Crazy Zeno said he was helping a friend out. So we're gonna go one by one. We're gonna look at everything, okay? So right off the bat, I love it. I think this shot is really great. I love the editing here. Obviously the model's killing it. I like his pose, the outfit, and the background, the floor, I love it. It's got this really nice pattern. The tiles got this real cool green, foamy, sea foam kind of look. And I think it works really well. The edit is really nice. Moving to the next image here. This one is awesome. This brings me back to like doing photos for businesses and things like that. This one totally could be used on a website, could be used on a business's Yelp page or Instagram or whatever. Model's killing it. As usual, the model's obviously killing it here. I like the outfit. I like what he's doing with the pencil. The environment's really cool. A little cluttered, but that's what cafes and coffee shops are, right? A little chaotic, a little cluttered up. I think he did really good here, Zeno, on the flash. It's not overpowered. It's filling in really nicely. Obviously, you got the window source of light behind him, so you got a little bit of hair light going on, but really nicely lit up here. Well done, Zeno. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so this one's the first one that I don't really like. He's being side lit pretty strongly, and then you're filling in on the other side. I feel like maybe the flash is a little too strong, but before adjusting the flash power, I'd probably jump into your camera and adjust something, whether it's bringing the ISO down, maybe increasing the aperture. I feel like the aperture is a little touchy, right? Because you want to set it like whether you want it really creamy with the soft bokeh, wide open aperture. So I would jump into the ISO first. If the ISO is as low as you can go, then probably the shutter speed. And at least for Nikon cameras, by default, your Nikon camera is going to be set at 1/200, and you can't go past that. You need to go into the settings, and then you'll go into the custom settings with flash, and then you can increase the high speed sync. And then I believe the option says something about auto, whatever. I just set it on that, and then that's when I'm able to increase my shutter speed with flash. So that's where I would go, probably increase that shutter speed. Yeah, I feel like the flash isn't too bad with the power where it is. I just feel like, and the way I can tell is on the right side. I feel like there's a lot of light coming from that right side, and that's not from the flash. That's the outside light. So what you want to do with your camera is lessen the amount of light hitting your sensor, whether that's decreasing ISO or decreasing the shutter speed, if you have your ISO set or if you have your aperture set. There we go. Okay, and lastly, we got this last shot. I think this one's really nice. He's being backlit by the sun here. You can see the sunlight going down his arm. And what's interesting, you can see the reflection of the flash on the light pole here. It's not a big issue to me, but I think you're really filling in the light here really well. So good job. I think with the composition, maybe back it up a little bit. I'm kind of big on like not cutting things off. The phone isn't too important, but I feel like the hand is a little close to the bottom of the frame. But where the eyes land in the composition of this is actually pretty nice. So overall, really cool shot. I like the edit, but my favorites of these Zeno is the coffee shop and then the one sitting on the ground. I'd be stoked to post those and send them to your client. So well done. Okay, next up, Zeno. Again, practiced with equipment today. So let's find those real quick, and here we go. So this is the crazy Zeno, here we go. And we're just gonna kind of look through the group of photos here. Just wanted to get the bird's eye view of everything. Nice. What a cool location out there in the Midwest, the United States. Real cool forest. All right, so first up, let's preface, okay, he's practicing with flash, so I don't really knock points for the poses and outfits and whatever. But I will bring attention to things. So here we go, first shot. Not my favorite pose, not gonna lie. It looks very, very posed and staged and everything like that. So the green's very saturated. The edit could be adjusted a little bit, but the lighting, good job. Not too bad. Actually, I say that and I can contradict myself. I feel like the flash is a little too hot. It is a little too hot, and the reason why I say that is because if this was like strong sunlight, you would not only see the strong sunlight on the face and the arms, but you'd see it on the ground as well. The reason why I'd say it's a little too hot is because you can see the ground, the flash there, it's like nicely lit, but where his face and the arm is, it's like it's blowing out here and there. So I'm imagining the flash is like right here, like right above the frame. So that's a case where you just tone down the power of the flash. And to illustrate that point, you can see the sunlight coming through the trees. You can see how strong that sunlight is hitting the ground. That's not happening here. So that's why it looks a little like artificial and fake and stuff. So again, I know these are practice shots, but these are just some things that I was paying attention to. Okay, next up, we've got the lean on the tree pose. Very classic, and I like how he's just like staring off into the sun, or I don't know, staring off into the woods. Why did I say the sun? Staring off into the woods. Maybe he's looking at a bear or something like that, but we'll just chalk it up to a practice shot. Again, pretty hot on the side here. Yeah, pretty hot. Like that stuff you can't recover in post and stuff, so always be watchful of that. Pretty hot, so either moving your flash away, but then that would increase the shadow on the tree and stuff. So you really just want to dial down the amount of power in the flash. And then kind of the same thing going on here. Not as bad with the flash power, I'd say. I mean, it is kind of bright still. Maybe it's just the different composition, but I like his outfit and I like what's going on here. I wonder if he's doing some BTS with his phone there. Really cool phone case, by the way. Really like the outfit. Cool shirt. All right, the last photo. Okay, so this one's classic Zeno shot. Zeno is a member of our community for a while, and he has a fisheye lens that he uses a lot for like band photography, concert photography. So I like that he busted it out here. This one's my favorite. It does kind of have a grungy, direct flash harshness to it, but that kind of like adds to like the concert band type vibe going on here. I like the pose of the photographer, the outfit, the glasses. This one's definitely my favorite shot. Again, a little bit, let me shut my mouth here. I do like hard flash. I do like that. I feel like maybe you could have leaned into it a little bit more. The reason why I was yeah, it's just glowing too much for me. And this is what happens when you try and bring back the highlights or like the whites when it's like blown out or really bright with a flash. You can see it's really glowing here with the chromatic aberration as well. So this is where I'd kind of maybe either lean into that real bright, imperfectness, or from the get-go, do it right in your camera, dial back that flash power. Other than that, really cool shot. Green's a little bit too hot for my liking, but I love the composition and everything here. So good job, Zeno. Moving on, we've got JVL. So JVL says, I've got a new 70 to 200 lens and it's just so beautiful. So happy with these colors. I'm able to produce with it on the Z7 Mark II. Missed a little bit of the super sharp focus on some of the photos, but overall, super happy with these. So I'm glad we read this because now we know what lens he shot these with. Let's go JVL. Okay, so JVL does a lot of dirt bike, like motocross type stuff. So I want to say jealous just because we don't have a lot of motorbike stuff out. I've never been out on the track, but I do love seeing his, what he does. I would love to get out on the track one of these days. I think it'd be a cool opportunity to go shoot with JVL, but yeah, waiting for my invite, buddy. So let's go ahead. Real cool establishing shot. We're out there taking some photos of some motorbikes. Nice and clean. I like the edit. Nicely focused. Cool shot. Let's move to this one. So I love this right off the bat. Really, really cool shot. I like that we do have some blurry foreground going on here, maybe even like obscuring the front tire there. It makes you feel like you're on the track and in the action with what's going on here. One thing about this shot is you've got this sliver of light, I'm assuming coming through the trees, and then it's like really dark behind him. Now that could have been manipulated in post, just making that darker background more dramatic, but the setup of it, waiting for the rider to cross that plane of light to take the shot. Well done, JVL. I think it's really well exposed. I love the edit. Dialed in your camera settings, getting the mud flying up from behind the bike. Really, really cool shot. Well done. Again, another cool shot at this location. You can see the difference in the edit here. This one here, it's a little bit more colorful, I'd say, a little bit more contrasty. He's pulling out a lot more in the edit. In this one, the contrast is a little bit more flat, not as dramatic as the other one, but I love the composition of this. The rider's on the left side. We've got that open space on the right where the light is coming from. If I were printing this or, I don't know, posting it, I'd probably get rid of this white track marker and just make it all about the rider and that light coming through the trees or whatnot. So that's just my 2 cents. Again, nice edit, well done on the camera settings, getting that action frozen. All right, so this shot is very interesting. The composition is what I don't like mainly about this. I think the edit's cool. It's very blue, very colorful. The compression's nice from the lens. Nice focus, but the composition. So what we got is a rider going from right to left, leaving behind a trail of dirt and smoke. What I would have loved is this in a landscape-oriented photo. Maybe he did get it, but I would definitely love this in a more landscape-oriented composition where you've got more of that dust trail being left behind. Then you have more of a story, and then having a little bit more room on the left side showing where the rider's going. So this in like a vertical, not really working for me, but at least the camera settings are nicely shot, nicely edited. Okay, lastly from JVL, we've got all the riders from this Washougal. I don't know if I said it correctly, Washougal, but really cool. You can kind of see it's kind of like a Splatoon-y type of vivid paint type of thing. And it's obvious, you can see all the riders in these real bright neon gear suits, and then the bikes are all neon. So I like that JVL kept that essence in the edit. This is one of those cool establishing shots. Like if I were shooting a wedding, not every photo is gonna be like mind-blowing, but you're gonna have some really good establishing shots of like the party, right? So this is the party. You got onlookers in the background, you got the logo of the race or whatever this meet is, and then all the riders. So JVL, thank you so much for sharing your photos, bro. Love it. Congrats on your 70-200 lens. Can't wait to see more photos. All right, back to the Discord. We've got the crazy Zeno again, and he's got a couple more photos for us to look through. So let's go ahead and jump right to it. Okay, so what did Zeno say? He says, finished the season of sports photography. These are my top 5. Okay, so this is more of like a wins celebration with the Zeno rather than like a critical feedback thing. So let's just celebrate the wins. Okay, first photo. We've got this really cool shot, and I think it's really cool. We got the picture mid-action, mid-air, off the ground. So well done setting your camera settings to capture this moment. Yeah, little distractions in the background of the people. Got some, legs with a missing body and stuff, but these are W shots, and I think this is really cool with the picture. Moving next, again, another picture shot. I actually really like this one too. I think the focus is nice, the edit is good, a lot more clean. Again, a little bit more motion there with the face, and he's just like getting into his throw. So really cool moment there. Yeah, the people in the back, don't ruin it just because you can easily get rid of it these days with Photoshop and GenFill, but nice composition, well done. Okay, right off the bat, this one, Zeno, I can see why this one is your top. I think it's a great, another mid-action type of photo. You don't have people in the background to disturb, but I don't know what this is, like a towel back here. I don't know what that is back there. Definitely catches your eye. I know these are W shots, but the composition doesn't work as strong for me as the other ones do. Kind of wish I had a little bit more of the pitcher's mound, or whatever this pitcher is. Maybe it'd be cool to get like a player in the background or something like that. But nice. Let's go to the next one. Ooh, this shot's good. The batter is locked in. I don't know if he's at the plate or if he's waiting for his turn, but I do really like this. The edit is good. He's like, I could see him just adjusting his grips. Eyes are focused. Nice composition, compression with the lens. Good job. Last shot. Okay, so this one definitely not as bright and colorful as the other ones. Could be because, again, just maybe it's a cloudy day and the sun moved in and whatever. Aside from that, I like the composition of this, love the background. I like the action going on here. And this is probably maybe my favorite photo out of the bunch. I just think, 1 foot up, she's locked in on the ball, caught it, background's clean, cool shot. Well done, Zeno. Next up, he says, I did a photo collaboration to celebrate World Photography Day on August 19th. There was a World Photography Day? The pictures of me is his, and the pictures of his outfit is mine. If you shot any photos on World Photography Day back in August, would love to see it. Drop it in. I guess it's not even a month ago yet, close to a month ago. But if you shot World Photography photos, we'd love to see it. Okay, let's look at these images. So first up, Zeno says that the ones of him are the ones he shot. So these are definitely on a different day. So let's see how well he improved with his flash action. Okay, so we've got 2 flashes going on. Okay, we've got 1 flash over here, 1 here, and you could really tell, right, because of the shadow, which is a cool effect. This guy's like a mysterious ninja. I like the outfit, like the pose. I like the edit here going on. The greens are not my favorite, a little cooked a little bit too much, but for the effect you're going with the flash, I think this is a really cool shot. Really like the effect here. Moving on to these other ones. Now, one thing, like, you know, and it's okay, Zeno, you could be editing these ones individually differently for a reason, but I'll just put this out there. I would have preferred this to be edited in this style. I think when you're presenting a group of images, having them all cohesive in the way that they're edited is really strong, and it really drives home that, like, you know what you're doing with editing, that it's not all these random temperatures of color and lighting and everything like that. So be watchful of that. Now, kind of like what we said before, you can see the lighting here on the foot is pretty strong. It's not blown out, so it's recoverable, but you can see how bright the flash is. Really, really bright. Probably would have loved to have it dialed back a little bit. That's just my preference. Also with this kind of shot too, I do like the pose, but what about some action? Maybe doing some like slow shutter where you can drop your shutter speed a bit and then kind of move, or you don't have to move, your model can move where he does something like that, or changes hand position to get some movement and some blur, would make the image a little bit more interesting. Okay, next one, again, like frozen in action, again, having some movement of him changing his arms or whatever would have been really cool to see. Again, we have a third different editing style out of the 3 images. Would have loved to have it edited just like the first one we looked at. So a little bit more darker and a little bit more cooler here. So going on to this one, we got some smoke action. Actually, really, I like that. You have smoke to play with and everything. Yeah, I like the bokeh going on in the background. It is kind of like a cool portrait moment here. And the flash isn't too bad, actually. I don't know, having the smoke in front of the eye kind of messes with the contrast on it. Would have loved to have the eye way more contrasted and focused. And the eye is in focus, but I think the smoke is messing with the look of it. But other than that, it's actually kind of like a cool, like, Mortal Kombat portrait here. It's pretty fun. Last but not least, we've got the model seated. Yeah, I think overall, it's not bad practice shots. I feel like you could play into the strengths of your character here, who's being mysterious with like the hat and the mask and everything. What if, like in this kind of shot, you put the flash in a way where it was shooting from above? You know what I mean? And then dial it back, and then maybe do a flash coming from behind him where he's being lit up around the edges of his body. He has a light coming down from below. Then it'd really play into that like mysterious kind of look. This one where it looks like you guys just left the flash where they are for all these photos, and that's fine for a certain look, but to really like start playing with the flash and moving them around, going from the top, going from behind. All right, and we're gonna move into the photos that your friend took. And I don't know if your friend cares for the critiques or whatnot, but I'm assuming you edited these. And if you didn't, just let me know that I'm wrong. But we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it. Anyways, let's look through all these. Look at this. Dude, Zeno, you're like a happy camper. Like you're a happy adventuring traveler. That's the vibes I'm picking up here. All right, so from the get-go, I really like what's going on, the effect that you're going for of having the light coming from the side as if it's like the sun coming through the trees. Let's look here. And this one, again, it looks like the sun's peeking through the trees, and you got this nice cool sun glare going on, lighting glare. Same thing happening here, and you're just really lit. This could be like an advertising brand shot. This one probably my favorite. I think the lighting here is the most natural, if I have to say. I like how it's lit. And I like, Zeno, you should be a model, man. You did really well. One thing about it, I'll touch on the editing here, but the greens, the blues, I know the greens are definitely changed in the hue, but you can see the blues, they've got this weird aqua tint. It looks really unnatural, and you can see it highlighted on the leaves, and you could really see it being reflected on the shirt. And that's one thing about, like, I don't like shooting white clothes on grass or like outside where there's a lot of green, because the green reflects on the shirt and you got to deal with it in post. So you got to watch out for that. And that's why your teeth are blue and your shirt is blue. Kind of throws the image off. So watch out for that. Don't have to push the blues too hard. Going to this one, the greens are not too bad. If I zoom in, I'll be like, oh, it's a little pushed. But one thing about this shot I'll say is when I edit, with flash, right? If you change the temperature of the flash, you're using gels. With LED lighting, you can set the temperature of the light. So the light from the flash is a little warm. If I were you and I were editing this image, I would maybe try and match that temperature with the overall look. It looks a little bit more cool on the green side. Probably warm it up a little bit, bring it back to magenta maybe, and see how that looks. But cool location, cool shot, love the perspective. This one's really toasty, very, very, very warm. You got like this white light, and then you have like really orange toasty tones here. Your legs look like Cheetos. Definitely watch out for that edit. Your ears on fire. That's definitely something I'd watch out for. And then lastly, we got this real crazy grain jittery going on. Again, I know art's subjective, and you may have intended for this kind of look, but I think like this edit or this edit would have looked really nice here. So with that being said, I love it. Cool practice shots. Well done. Well done. All right, last but not least, we've got Kylo Lens asking me, Aaron, do we still do critiques? Would love to get feedback on my first motorsport media stint. This is what I love about the Light Den Academy. Guys, just sharing your W's, sharing the things that you're into, what you're getting into, cool opportunities that you have. Would love to celebrate that with you guys. And of course, we are now back to doing these photo critiques. So let's pull up Kylo Lens's photos here, and we're gonna dive right into them. Let me look at the whole bunch, and then we'll get into it. One other thing too about the community, and I'm just super grateful, is that you guys trust me with these critiques and feedback. I don't shoot everything, right? I don't have a dirt track here. I don't have a motorsports speed highway here. I'm on Maui, okay? I mainly shoot weddings and engagements. That's my bread and butter. So for you guys to let me come in and give you some critique and feedback, I'll do my best to be fair and just kind of observe the editing and then the camera settings and stuff. And if anything can be changed on that front. But with that being said, let's jump in. Okay. So it looks like with these series of images, you had a little tricky situation here, Kylo. It looks like it went from like a sunny, bright day, maybe at the beginning of the day, to like a wet, overcast, rainy night. So let's start with the sun. So this shot's really cool, really interesting car. The rolling shot, love it. This makes me think of Wonder Bread, the Wonder Bread logo with the red, yellow, and blue circles and whatever. So I really like it. I like the composition. I like the rolling shot. Could it be a little bit more focused and like locked in? Perhaps. I wonder if the focus point was more on the tail end of the car versus the front. Would have, loved the focus to be more on that front wheel closer to the camera or where the cockpit is rather than on the back, but I could be wrong. Moving on, I think it was this one. Also a really cool shot. I liked the colors going on here. We got this green thing on the ground next to the racetrack, and then it just matches so well with the car. I think this one's nicely focused. I think it's better focused than the other one, actually. Again, another rolling shot. And yeah, what else can I say about it? Maybe the composition. If this was a horizontal shot, maybe it'd be really nice. Vertical shots are kind of hard with these types, especially if they're kind of like parallel with the camera or kind of away. I feel like with verticals, if it was like at an angle coming towards you, it'd be nice. But yeah, nice. Let's go next. I think this one's next. You can start to see it get a little overcast, a little dark. The color's not as vibrant. The sky is a little muddled. Ooh, battery's running low. Let's get this done. So we've got the car doing another rolling shot. And again, the composition's not speaking to me. I feel like it can be a little bit more balanced rather than being pushed to the front. I'd maybe even crop in behind the car so that you get it nice and tight if you're gonna go that tight. And again, matching the blue car with the blue background. Well done, Kylo. All right, moving on to the rain. This one's a little different. You're shooting behind a fence, so you got that element in play. And the first thing I see is like you got these little flag signs or whatever in all these little chain link spaces. So I like that. I like the repetitive logos. I like the foreground action with these lines. It's a very interesting photo to look at. It's just that when it gets low light, it does get harder to see because maybe you're jacking up the ISO, you're changing camera settings, and you're gonna lose information when you do that. When you can't, keep your ISO low, and especially with aperture, as it gets dark, you're probably opening up that aperture to let more light in. So again, you're kind of losing focus and clarity. So that's apparent, but it is still kind of focused there on the rear. Again, would have loved to have the focus here on the front. And again, I'm, take my critique with a grain of salt because I've never shot this kind of thing. Last but not least, the shot is actually really cool, but it kind of suffers from that ISO being opened up, aperture being opened up. You can see a lot of noise, jitteriness going on, and just detail being lost because of the ISO being opened up like that. To solve that, I don't know, maybe getting a camera that can handle low light better. But other than that, maybe playing into the lower light, like bring the ISO down, it will be darker, but maybe you can let the lights from the stadium, the track, the cars, bring the light source and make it a little bit more darker, mysterious. I like the composition. As a vertical, this composition is sick. Love it, Kylo. And I love the massive plume of mist from behind. I think that's super dope. All right, well, that's it for this video. Zeno, JVL, Kylo, thank you so much for submitting photos. I miss your faces. I miss going live on Twitch. As soon as I can get the internet up and running much faster over here, then we will definitely be doing some live streams from the studio, maybe do some workshops and stuff like that. But for the time being, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you have the notification bell enabled so that you can get notified whenever we drop a video. Would love to have you guys in the comment section. Let me know down below what you thought about the video, what you thought about the critiques. If you have any feedback for any of the photographers, feel free to shout them out in the comments down below. I've got some really cool things coming up, camera reviews, gear, some friends coming to visit from the Light Den Academy community. So make sure you are locked in and subscribed to the YouTube channel. My name is Aaron Nahara, and I appreciate you all for watching. I'll see you all on the next one.